The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
Welcome to another segment of UCW Radio. This is your host, Lou, a.k.a. Falcon Co-Paris, and I want to thank all of our listeners, as I do, for your continued support, because without our listeners, we wouldn't have a show, because it'd be pretty sad to just have one listener, don't you think? Good thing we have distribution, my God. But we're also increasing the distribution. We're increasing our syndication, so hang on for the ride. This show is for you guys, so just enjoy it. And just be a part of it. I need to let our listeners know, actually not even, well, our listeners, and let sponsors know that we have opened the doors for sponsorship opportunities, and you can find out more by going to our website, ucwmagazine.com, or you can give us a jingle at 323-952-4369. Find out how you can align yourself with the UCW radio show as we continue to grow, and we are growing. And one part of the growth is what happened yesterday. An announcement came out, and now I can speak about it. I couldn't speak about it for a little bit, but now I can speak about it. We are the official host for the Ultimate Body radio show, which is associated with the Ultimate Body TV reality show. And they're having their final auditions on October 17th. Now that's going to be a reality show. Just like you have The Biggest Loser and so on and so forth, even as you have The Rock of Love, a reality show, and this is another reality show. The difference here is that in bodybuilding, and this is, of course, a bodybuilding reality show, first of its kind. I need to stress it, first of its kind. That's why I'm excited about being involved in the project with the radio portion of it, because this is the first time this has been done. So, yeah, I'm proud of that. And the great thing about it is that usually in bodybuilding, you're an amateur bodybuilder, you're competing, you're doing your thing, you're taking your supplements, you have to go to the doctor, you have to do all this stuff, you have to pay for all of that, and you don't make any money doing it. And that's the difference here. You are, I think it's about 23 or 26 people staying in a house, so you have free room and board. You're not paying for anything. You're getting your supplements every day. You're getting your food every day. You have a personal trainer. A personal trainer. You have some of the top bodybuilders in the sport that are judging the show, being Rich Gaspari. He's a legend. He's a legend in bodybuilding. You have Bob Cicciarello. He is the voice of the Mr. Olympia. And then you have Marcia Prince. She is a fitness model champion. She's a spokesperson for Gaspari nutritional products. And then on top of that, you have the natural Mr. Universe, Doug Burns, and he knows a little bit about going through adversity. And talking about adversity, now let's go all the way to the producers. All right, the show's produced by Lions Entertainment. Now, David Lyons, he's one that dealt with adversity himself in his own life, having to battle MS and competing in his first bodybuilding competition not too long ago. And he did great. And he's also the producer of Hog Heaven, a hit biker show, and Creepers, which is an animated feature. And he has right by his side Lauren Alvarez. Okay, now some may not know her, but here you go. You'll know the shows: Meet My Folks, The Surreal Life, and The Osbournes. So now you know why I am attached, and the UCW radio show is attached to this project. It's going to be a great hit, and there's going to be a lot of longevity here. Anyone that ever wanted to be a reality show star and wanted to be a bodybuilder at the same time and have doctors and chiropractor and nutritionists, everything around you, just to give you all the information. I mean, you're getting all this. I mean, if you had to pay for this, it probably cost you, I don't know, a lot of money. Hundreds of thousands of dollars just to get all this advice and all this, all the nutritional information and everything that you need to keep yourself in peak condition. And this is all happening for nothing. And now, if you win, guess what? The grand prize is 50 grand. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. And the trips involved, the whole 9 yards. So there are a few other things in there that would be appealing to anyone that's looking to get involved in that. And again, for people that are just looking to get in the limelight and get themselves out there, hey, what better way than with a reality show that's going to keep you healthy? And wouldn't it be good? Oh, and I forgot to mention, you win the show, guess what? You're going to be centerfold in Muscle Mag International. Now, you can't even pay to get that done. You can't pay. That's something you can show your grandkids that this is what I did. So this is an opportunity, unique one. October 17th in Kissimmee, Florida. Actually, let me give you the address. It's an open casting call. And you can go to the official website, which is theultimatebodytvshow.com. Check it out. But the actual open casting is Saturday, October 17th from 11 in the morning till 6 in the evening at the Ramada Orlando Celebration Resort and Convention Center that's located at 635 West Earlo Bronson Highway. And that's in Kissimmee, Florida. And again, the application is on theultimatebodytvshow.com. Hey, that's an opportunity. Seize it. Make it your own. Now let's move on. In just a little bit, you are going to we're gonna have a special guest on the show, and I'm happy to have him on because he has a movie that's coming out tomorrow. All right, they have a big red carpet event. We're going to talk about that in a second. But he is the director of the film. Before we bring him on the show, I need to also let our listeners know, and this is the tie-in to the guest. But if you're going to be in the Atlanta area, actually the outskirts of Atlanta, but in the Atlanta area tomorrow, September 17th, and make it down to the Carmike Theater for the red carpet event for Lynch Mob, the movie. Go to www.lynchmobmovie.com, and they have a whole listing of the theaters, and they have the actual theater, I think is in Conyers or something, that they are going to have the red carpet event. You have to go if you're in the area, because how often do you get a Hollywood event in the outskirts of Atlanta? How often? Not often. All right, so this should be a star-studded event, and the movie's great. Good people behind it, and you're not going to be disappointed. You will be disappointed if you don't make it. That's going to be your disappointed. That's going to be your disappointment. Let me correct myself. But you will be disappointed, and that will be your disappointment. So those are two things. So there. Now I have to give you some information for those listeners that want to connect with the show, and we encourage you to connect with the show. Call us. Leave us some comments, questions, whatever you want to do. Do that, but nothing bad, please. You'll know who the guests are just by going to our website, ucwmagazine.com. Check it out. You'll see who's going to be on the show. The number is 323-952-4369. Again, that's 323-952-4369. Give us a jingle and let us know what you think. Oh, if you have a comment, hey, just leave it there. You have a question for one of our guests, just leave it on there. And if it's interesting enough, we'll make it a part of the show and get you involved. And again, one thing, I have to repeat this with the sponsors. Okay, we have opened the door to sponsorship partnerships. And as I said, this is the perfect time for a marketer or an advertiser or sponsor to get involved with the show, because if you come to us in the next few months, it's going to be a different situation, I promise you, because we have so many good things going on, and with the people that we're connecting with and the syndication we're going to get, is you're going to miss an opportunity. So go to ucwmagazine.com, and if you think I'm kidding you about missing an opportunity, I'm not. You'll see as we move forward. Anyway, moving on. If you're on Twitter, then shoot me out some questions, comments. And let me know what you think. My Twitter name is Louis Velazquez. That's Louis Velazquez. So follow me and tweet away. Now, without further ado, we have him waiting on the line, so we have to actually patch him in because we ran a little late today, and he's been on hold, and I don't know what he's doing. He's probably, probably editing something or something. So we have to get him on the line before we lose him. But he is the director of what I think will be the next cult classic to sweep the country. And I just spoke about the movie before. It's called Lynch Mob. Trust me on this. You want to check it out. Here is the director of Lynch Mob, Byron Erwin. Byron, it's great to have you on the UCW radio show. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, no problem, no problem. We always appreciate the time that our guests put aside for us. I know, especially for you, with what's going on, you have a feature film that's coming out, and you have a red carpet event tomorrow. We were talking about it just before the show. Yeah, it was good enough for you. It was good for you to squeeze us in. I do appreciate it. We had, as you know, we had Rachel Stamper on the show last week, and we talked about Lynch Mob, the movie that you guys, the feature film that you guys have coming out, which is going to be in Carmike theaters throughout the country. Tomorrow you guys have a big red carpet event. Now you're the director of Lynch Mob, and I saw some clips of it. Seems to be great. You have Tony Darrow and a few other notables in there, and the whole story behind it I found interesting, which you're going to share. You're going to give me your version, because I heard Rachel. I heard her and a Meatloaf. We're going to talk about something else here. Talk about you.
Okay.
but I have a ton of questions in regards to the movie. But what I really want to do is start at the beginning with you, and then we can talk about Lynch Mob in a minute. How did you get involved in the entertainment business?
Well, I guess when I was a kid, I had this passion for directing plays. Talking like 10, 11 years old. I don't know what was provoking me to do that, but I would get kids and my neighbors, put them all together in a backyard and put on a play. And there was no real inspiration for that. It was just something that I felt I liked doing.
Right, okay.
And then as the years went by, I moved into 8mm, Super 8mm, 16mm, then eventually got to 35mm. Then the digital age broke out, and which made it really affordable for anybody that was trying to put together a movie that didn't have very much money to be able to do something larger scale and not have the costs of negatives and interpositives and prints and so forth that you have to have with 35mm film.
Well, case in point, that Blair Witch Project thing that they did.
Absolutely. That's the same kind of respect of what we're talking about here. You can actually, if you have the right kind of person who's doing your imaging for you, you're able to do something in digital that can be printed on film and still put into theaters, and people don't know it was digital. So,
right. Well, you have different techniques with editing, which you know a lot about.
Yeah, I started editing, like I was telling you, on film. So we had to use flatbeds and work prints and mag tracks, and it was really laborsome and took a lot. It was a very long process.
And you had to physically cut the film.
Yeah, yeah, physically, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You have to sit there and you essentially become the cutter.
Yeah, you hang all your shots up all over the walls around you, and everything's labeled, and you can't really look at them unless you pull them down, line them up on the table, and roll them back and forth. So yeah, it was a long, tedious process, and you had to have a real good vision of what you were going to do prior to just putting the shots together like you can do today in digital. And one of the ways that I did that was by storyboarding everything. Storyboarding gave me the ability to actually preconceive how the style of the film was going to be, how I was going to edit the movie, what the shots were going to entail, and how I could pull them off, and the cost and everything that would go into every shot. Made it very easy for me to organize and pull off something with very little money. So when we got to do this film, Lynch Mob, of course, as soon as they gave me the script, I started conceiving the scene breakdowns of how I was going to visualize this and storyboard it out every single shot. And that was the way I was able to break it down into our shooting schedule per day and say, I can get this much coverage per day, I can get these shots and so forth, and made the process pretty smooth for us.
But the thing is, with storyboarding, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because when you do that, all you're doing is organizing your day, what you're going to wind up doing, because they do it in advertising, they do it in film. I don't think everybody does that. But it does organize you when you are filming.
Yeah, I always look at movies as pictures. You know, it's a bunch of pictures is what it is. And so, like a comic book or like anything that involves a lot of photographs, you're telling a story with a bunch of pictures. So as an artist, you can map out the design of the film before you actually get to these locations. Now, storyboarding is not for everybody. I think that some productions you can actually go onto a set, look at the set, work with your actors, block your scene out, and discover great ways to cover that and to tell the story. And that doesn't mean that you lost anything because you didn't storyboard it, but by storyboarding it ahead of time, I think that gives you a better understanding of your cost of your movie, and it's just a great place to start from, even if you don't end up using the exact shots that you conceived.
Just so people can really get a good concept of this, I'm going to make a reference. If you look at like the movie Iron Man, okay, or any Marvel movie that has come out, if you look at the comic, that comic is kind of like a storyboard for the movie. You know, and it kind of guides them throughout, which is interesting because they even show that in the beginning of the movie. They show the little thing with the comic books, and that, I mean, that's the equivalent, kind of. You know, it just gives you guidance as you're going and filming. So that's interesting, but that's tedious work. I mean, I don't have the patience for that. You have to be a very patient person. You have to be.
Well, patience, you know, patience and pain. That's the two things you have to make movies. That's for sure. You have a high tolerance for pain.
Oh, you must be married.
Well, you get used to it. You're going to suffer. Every day you're going to have some sort of challenges thrown at you. You can predict as many as possible, but I can promise anybody trying to shoot a movie that every day you're going to have something thrown at you that you've never experienced before and you couldn't predict, and you just have to be ready to tolerate it and move on.
Well, as I said, you know, you must be married. So if people, you know, are in that situation, you get to I mean, everything's a process, and you go through, you hit your bumps and your walls and everything else as you're moving forward in the filmmaking process. It's not easy, but at the end of the day, it becomes satisfying when you get something good like Lynch Mob. You got done. I think that, you know, you guys have something really good on your hands. And I'm just going to make reference to this because you talked about the pain and the suffering. We had Phil Morris. Don't know if you're familiar with him, but he is in Smallville, and he was on Seinfeld. He was a lawyer, great guy, great actor. Basically, you know, he was talking about, you know, going through the process and all the, I guess all the hard work that goes into it. But what goes into it is what you get out of it.
Yes, I agree, absolutely. If you're not willing to put in to work into anything, you know, does it really have value to you at the end? And I understand that there could be things that you do, you just as an artist say, "Oh, that was easy for me. That was great. Wonderful." But the things that will become the most challenging stimulate you to come up with creative solutions to solve those challenges. And using your creativity, at least for me, is very stimulating. It's exciting for me. And the best stuff that I've ever done is always on those moments where I'm forced to come up with some sort of way to solve a challenge. And so I look forward to those things. I don't think that's a bad aspect of filmmaking at all.
No. Well, that helps you learn, you know. And I always make reference to other people because as even I'm doing this show, the UCW radio show, I learn from other people and through their experiences because it just happens by default. One thing that someone in radio told me, and he told me, he said, you know, when he was in radio, he was all over the place, and he was a big wig, and something happened, he hit a brick wall, and someone bigger than him gave him advice, and they told him, you need to get back to your roots. You need to learn the process of radio from the engineer's point. Learn everything. You do that, you'll have a career for the rest of your life in radio. Same thing with filmmaking. You started out editing. You understand that. So if you understand that, you understand the mechanics of how the film gets made, which makes you into a better director.
Yeah, I actually felt very fortunate about that all these years of making films, I've especially when I was younger, I had to do all of the steps myself.
Mm-hmm.
The pre-production, the production, the post, everything, the score, every single aspect of it. So by now, I've educated in all of those fields.
Mm-hmm.
I may not be a master at all those fields, but I'm educated in them to understand, as I'm shooting, what I'm looking for,
Mm-hmm.
what I can use, and what wouldn't work in an edited sequence.
Right.
I've seen work with other directors and seen many times them missing opportunities on the set. I'm watching them do something and say to myself, God, if you had just kept rolling for a second there, you just moved over there and got a take of this, then when you edit it together, you would have this extra sequence or this little spark to the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And communicating that to someone was difficult. It's something that you can only kind of gain from the experience, understanding it, and from knowing all those steps. And so, yeah, in that respect, I felt pretty fortunate that at this stage in my life, I can see things in that perspective, like in the big scale of things, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, but that's what it is. When you're filming, you'll see something, let's say another director that may be, I don't know, a little higher up than you. I guarantee you put both of you guys on a set and he is directing, that he'll miss something, but you'll catch it because you're looking for that, because that's normal to you, which may be abnormal to him, because he doesn't understand that end of the business. And again, it's just different areas. It's like when you're learning, and I'm sure you've done it, because you did everything from soup to nuts, the lighting, the angles, this, that, you learn all about this, and it just helps you in everything that you're doing. I've heard of actors that, we had actors on the show that did everything from editing to directing, they learned all this stuff before they became an actor. But by learning all this, they understood all the dynamics involved, so it allowed them to have greater shots when they were being filmed.
Yeah, especially for an actor to understand that, that gives them insight into what they're shooting, to know what the director's going to need from them in coverage to get them shown well on the screen and so forth. Yeah, working with people like that has always been a benefit. It helps out big time.
Yeah, well, it makes your job as a director, it makes your job easier too, because they know what to do. Actually, if you're directing them and what to do, and they say, okay, they know, but they're doing something a little extra to help you, it makes the shot better for you.
Correct, yeah.
That's always a good thing.
The greatest gift in film is to surround yourself with really talented people.
Yeah, but I mean, in this film, Lynch Mob, you had some talented people around you as well. I mean, again, me and Rachel, we had a nice talk about what transpired throughout the film, and it was interesting because when everything came about. Let me just, before we get into that and talk about her, because I talk about it too much. But let's start. How did you get involved in the project?
I had worked with First Cinema on a short film they shot called Just Asking for It. And
okay.
They brought me in to edit the movie for them.
Okay.
And that particular film was shot without slates and without storyboards. And a lot of the sequences were altered from the script. So it was really difficult as a puzzle to sit down with all this footage and piece it together into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was done, I actually got to meet the director at the screening, and he was really, he hugged me. He was so happy. He said,
mm-hmm.
"Oh, you saved it." And I thought that was a really nice compliment, because it wasn't about me trying to put my thumbprint into the film. It was just
mm-hmm.
trying to pull the best film I could out of the footage that they had shot. And so working with them and discussing film with them and them understanding my background and seeing some of my other films I worked on, that brought them to their decision, I guess, to bring me on as the director for Lynch Mob.
And this is the first feature film that you've directed.
Well, the first one that's being released, that's correct.
Okay. Well, I think that your progression from the editing to learning everything beyond that, and then going into the seat as being the director, for any filmmaker, for any producer that's going to have a film, to have a director like that, like you, in front of them, how much easier does it make their job? or does it make the project? Because now, at the end of the day, it comes down to this: what is the finished product? Is it quality? Is it high quality? Is it going to get out there? Is it going to make them money? And that's what the producers are worried about. And that's the bottom line. Am I wrong?
Yes, absolutely.
It's money.
It is funny because it comes down to having a product that will actually sell. That's what it really boils down to. What kind of film are we shooting here? I mean, every script that you get is different. They're all going to have a different style to them, a different feel to them, and so forth. And it's all. So I took the script, read what it said to me, and molded the design of the film around that, and said, okay, well, this is a fun film. This is not a film about drama in the court. It's not going to be a Michael Crichton type of story. This is a fun film for popcorn and having a good time. So we approached it in that respect, and I was really glad to hear the producers and the actors and everybody, after they finally saw the film, to say how great they thought it came out, because that was the reward, for me. It was a lot of work. I did work as the director and the editor on the film, so I really felt like the ball was all in my court. They were really kind of counting on me. When we go through the process of casting, even when you go through the process of recruiting your crew, it comes down to, I'm judging these people. I'm looking at the actor perform a sequence for their audition, and I'm judging them. Are they good enough? Are they the guy that fits this role, and so forth? And so I had to do that for everybody that I was working with. So now it finally turned the tables on me. They're sitting down judging me, finally, looking at the film and going, okay, did he do it? Did he pull it off? And so I was really proud to get their compliments on the film.
But the thing is that when for you, and it's unique because not every director is editing a feature film. Okay, they have people that do that. But you being the director, you know what you filmed. So when you're editing, even though you're probably more critical on yourself than another editor would be, because it's not their work, they're just cutting it up. But for you, because I would think, look, you've done it, so you're looking, you don't care what the director is. You're like you're going through your stuff and put it together, and that's it. That's what you do. But for you, you're the director and the editor, so when you're editing, I would think that it may have made your job a little bit easier with the editing.
Yes and no. Yes, because I knew what I shot. I knew what I was going to put together. No, because I sweat every frame. I sit there and struggled over every shot because everybody's relying on me for this one, and I knew there was so many people counting on me for their future, for their careers and everything. And so I'm sitting here going through this sequence going, okay, that takes great, but at the very last frame here, I should pull it one frame to the left. It was really a struggle going through this movie. I mean, when you see the film, you'll see there's sequences that are edited for dialogue. They're pretty standard. They're just what you see on any movie. There's sequences that are done where you have people talking in wide shots and close-up shots. They're giving dialogue, they're giving action, and it's pretty generic, pretty normal. But then there's also sequences in this film that are edited music video style, is what I call it, where I'm using reverse photography, fast-forward photography, black and white, freeze frames, all this effects run through these sequences, and they were done with a lot of creativity. I was trying to be a little bit artsy there, and those were the sequences that I was the most scared of people seeing, because some people may look at that and go, what are you doing? What is this? Doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But it all turned out to work, and I couldn't have been prouder.
Well, you were able to use you were able to really dig deep into your creative senses to do something and make a movie the way you think it should be made. And credit to the Stampers, because they allowed you to do it.
Yes, it was the producers, Scott Stamper, Rachel Stamper, and the producer John J. Cornetta. Both of them, all of them pulled me into this film together, and I thank them big time for that.
Yeah, they brought you in, and they did a great job doing that, because I saw some of the clips on the movie, and I liked it. And tomorrow you have... actually, I want to hear some funny stories, because Rachel was telling me some stuff. Did she really burn down her kitchen? That's what I want to know.
Well, we were shooting this movie. Everything's going along. Every day we have these wonderful catered meals, great energy food, motivating us all. And one day it stopped. And we weren't getting these home-cooked meals anymore. And so we all wanted to know what had happened. And sure enough, while the meals were being prepared one day, the kitchen burned down. Now, I don't know the whole details into how and why or what happened in that kitchen, but I do have the video. So I can prove that it actually happened. So they asked me to edit together the behind-the-scenes videos, and certainly, of course, I included the video that I received from them about going through their kitchen and looking at the burned-up stove and the cabinets and everything. Yeah. So,
oh my God!
It wasn't until after the movie was done that we all found out it was the truth. That sure enough, the kitchen burned down.
That's hilarious. I mean, this is her story, and this is just quoting her story. She said she was trying to make homemade meatloaf that she made so fantastically. She was looking to make it for the crew. All right, now. Was it that good? Was it that bad? I don't know. The kitchen burned down, so maybe she was covering something up. I don't know. So the bottom line is, if ever I go down to Atlanta and I'm invited over to Stamper's house, please don't serve me the meatloaf because I'm a little on the fence with that.
What's on the menu? That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Take me out now, but that's funny. But yeah, but you guys doing a film like this. And again, I'm going to go back to talking with Phil Morris, because he just worked on a film with Michael J. White, and we were going over it. It was like a comedy thing. I think, what was it, the Black Dynamite. And everybody did it just like in your film, like Tony Darrow and everybody else that are SAG. They did the film for SAG minimum. Okay, and that's what they did. They did their film for SAG minimum. And something interesting happened with them, which I'm going to tell you in a second. But I think that it's interesting when you get talent that's willing to work for like almost nothing just because they believe in your product and your project. I think that's a good feeling for you as a director and for them as the screenwriters.
Yeah, that credit all goes to Scott Stamper for the story that he wrote, because it would have been really difficult to ruin the story. I mean, the story was clever, funny, witty, all the good stuff that I like about a kind of a horror movie. You can make horror movies that are terrifying and they have lots of jolts and jumps in them, but I'm not buying it anymore. I've seen so many horror movies that they're going to have to come up with some sort of new formula to scare me. So to go the route of humor and amusement with the horror is far more interesting and exciting for the audience for me. And yeah, the script was so well written that I think that was the reason why these guys came on board. After they read it, they saw that it was a great project and they wanted to be part of it.
Yeah, but I think, as I said, that with Tony Darrow, he could have commanded something bigger. But just going to Phil Morris and what he told me when they did Black Dynamite, they did it for almost nothing. And this is the interesting thing. They finished the film. It's a comedy film, right? And I think this is where things are going to go with you guys, too. It's just interesting. But what transpired with them, that the film was shown at film festivals, so on and so forth. Sony picked it up. It costs nothing to make, and the movie is going to make a ton of money because of the distribution. And that's a whole bunch of good actors believing in a project, like in your situation, a bunch of good people believing in the project. And I think you guys have a hit on your hands with this.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. But this is what you guys are doing. You work hard for this. I mean, I'm picturing you editing this. Okay, because everything's digital, so you're on the computer, you're editing everything. Right at the back of your mind, you're thinking, "Holy crap! The Stampers just triple mortgaged their house. I can't mess this up." Okay, and then it becomes, everything. I can feel like all the pressure being on you at that time, and that must have been a little difficult. But I maybe because of what you did as being a cutter for all those films and TV projects, that you're used to having that pressure on you.
Yeah, I just crossed my fingers on that all the experiences that I've been through and the challenges that I've faced in the other short films and features that I've worked on, that it's all going to come and apply that knowledge now, and that it's going to work. I can only trust my gut. That's all I could do. I sit down, I cut those scenes together. That it should be like this. It should more of this in it. I've got to try to do more of this and put some Powell right here, and that's what my gut's for me to do. And that's all I have. You know, if it doesn't work, that's me.
Right.
That's the best I could do.
Yeah, but you honed your skills and you're very good at what you do. That's why, you know, if people just go to YouTube or something and put up Lynch Mob movie, they can see the trailer. Okay, which you know, you look at the trailer, you see the quality of the film. And just from the trailer you can see that. And it's just the way it was done, which gives you an indication of gives you a good idea of what the movie what you can expect when you go see the movie. Now, you have the red carpet event tomorrow. Why don't you tell me about that?
Okay, yeah, we've got the movies premiering tomorrow. I'm a little nervous about it actually because you know, there's a lot of press is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
This is the moment where everybody's going to judge the film.
Yes.
And so that does put a little pressure on you. But I think it's going to be a fun event. I'm looking forward to it. We'll get to see all the actors and the crew members, and we have some stars coming down too. I don't have the exact list of who everybody is, but
I know Keith Sweat's going to be over there. I know that.
Wonderful.
And I don't know who else. I mean, Rachel was telling me a few, but yeah, I mean, this is the moment. This is what you guys have worked so hard for. And you're going to have you know, people going to see the film. You're going to have fans going to see the film. And one thing I'll let our listeners know, and maybe, you know, because usually when I talk about it, I don't know what theater it's going to premiere at. I know it's on the outskirts of Atlanta, so maybe you can give us that information so our listeners that may want to go see it, that live down there, that they can wind up going. I know it's a Carmike Theater.
Yeah, anybody can go to www.lynchmobmovie.com and click on the link for theaters, and they're all listed right there in each city and each state, and they'll be able to see which one they can go to that's closest to where they live.
And what about the one that the red carpet premiere is going to be at?
That's going to be at the Carmike Cinema in Conyers, Georgia.
Okay, that's the one, because anyone that lives in that area, hey, you can go down, and I said this earlier on, I said I've been saying this all week, that this is a unique opportunity to go meet and greet with you, with Scott, Rachel, all the actors, all the people working behind the scenes and everything, because I know that in a year's time that they're not going to be able to go up to you and go shake your hand and go take pictures and stuff, because you're going to be working on different projects, and your next premiere may not be in Georgia. It may be somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Man's Chinese Theater in Hollywood, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why this is a unique opportunity for anyone that's over there, movie lovers that want to go see the movie, and take the opportunity to go meet these great people, because next time around, yeah, you're going to have a bigger venue in a different state. That's where your movies are going to premiere. It's not going to be there. You know, and that's why they're lucky, because it is there. So take advantage of it. And I know the film's going to be in several theaters throughout the country. Carmike Cinemas lined up with you guys, which was fortunate. And I think everything's just lining up for this, for Lynch Mob the movie to be a big hit. It can be a cult classic. You may have a following and have all that other stuff going on. You may have groupies, Byron.
Just as long as they're not offended by when my bodyguard knocks them on the ground, that's I'll have as many groupies as I like.
All right, there you go. There you go. now, let me ask you. So this the red carpet's happening tomorrow, and actually the actual release is on Friday, the 18th. But you have the pre-release or whatever it is. The red carpet event is on Thursday, and that's great. Now, at the end of this week, that closes out that chapter. Now let's go on to the other chapter, because you know, and I'll give the website again, lynchmobmovie.com. I advise anyone that's into cult movies, those type of movies, horror movies, and want something a little different and more appealing. This is the movie you need to go check out. Now, what else are you working on? What else do you have in the pipeline for you after this movie gets released tomorrow?
Well, I'm not at liberty to discuss the themes of the projects that we're working on here because many of the scripts are in development right now that we're going to be shooting immediately after this movie comes out.
Okay, so you're going to be working on them immediately. There's no break for you. There's no, well, let me go in the lounge chair and get some sun. There's none of that for you.
Oh, I'm not interested in vacations. I love work.
Okay, good. Well, you love what you do. You love what you do, which makes it easier. I mean, you don't mind working hard for it. But, again, it is hard work, but the satisfaction at the end of the day when you're done.
Yeah, 14-hour days. You come home, you lay down on the bed, and you pass out, and you sleep for 6 hours, and you jump out of bed.
You sleep for 6 hours? That's a long time.
Well, I get 6 hours. I get 6 hours in. And, yeah, and just jumping out of bed in the morning, you're doing what your life calling is when that's the way your life is going. You can't wait to get out of bed and seize the day. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. How often do people they're sleeping? They don't want to get up. I'm too tired. You know what? If you have something to look forward to in the morning, you're going to get up. You're going to pop out of bed, as you said, pop out, and you're going to go do it because you're going to seize the day. Because you have to. There's a saying that you have to live like this is your last day on Earth, but also plan like you're going to be around forever. So
correct. Yeah.
It has to do with enjoying your life because you have one life to live, and you can't go and do stuff like you're beyond the editing arena. You went into directing. Now you have another chapter in your life that's going on within your career, and I think that stuff's interesting because I know that in a few years you're going to be attached to some major projects. And I'm going to say, yeah, we had Byron on the show, but he doesn't take my calls, and neither does Rachel. Nobody wants to talk to Lou. Nobody.
Well, I think that since I've been doing this since I was a child, I've always had some specific movies that I'm really passionate about that I want to make, stories that I want to tell. Mm-hmm. And to have the opportunity to get the backing and the funding to pull these movies off, that's my lifelong dream. There's about three scripts that I've written that are these personal movies, mm-hmm. All in different genres, mm-hmm. that I'm looking really forward to getting to screen.
Okay, well, do you have a website that you have your own, or MySpace or something where people can reach out to you? Because we have we do this show. We have all different types of people in the world of entertainment that listen to the show. So you never know who's listening. How can even fans, if they want to reach out to you, how can they do that?
Yeah, if anybody wants to look me up, my name, Byron Erwin, that's ERWIN, is, you can put that in Google and all the avenues. I have a website, ByronErwin.com, Facebook, MySpace, all that, and all my contact information is on there, so, stalkers.
You have a Facebook?
Sure, certainly.
Oh, well, you're not my friend on Facebook. What's wrong with you?
I'm typing it in right now as we speak.
There you go. All right, so listeners, you can go reach out for Byron Erwin, check him out. Go to MySpace, friend him on Facebook. Connect with him because this is one person that I know, the same as I know with Rachel and Scott, that they're going on to greater things in their careers. I think a project like this forces you to dig deep and to come out with the product that you came out with. Now you dug deep, you went as far as you can go. Now people see what you're about. Now you start going to greater heights, and you've seen it in your career in Hollywood. How many directors have started out, they were new, and all of a sudden they're pretty big to-dos.
Well, there's two directors that I've always admired that started outside of the system, independently, shot low-budget horror movies with their first films. It took them years to finish these horror movies, and both of them ended up being high successes, and that's Peter Jackson and Sam Raimi. Mm-hmm. Both of them followed the almost identical paths of shooting in 16-millimeter, these low-budget horror movies, and getting this from them. And certainly hope that one of the things I can do is follow in their footsteps.
Well, I think you're on your way, and I think the Lynch Mob movie project was definitely I guess, definitely the right thing for everybody involved. Because even down to the actors, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to touch on Tony Darrow because he's the guy that came in along with Paul Borghese, right? Yeah, Paul Borghese. Both these guys came in. They did the film for SAG minimum, but I think that they do know, being an actor, that you have to attach yourself. You have to have integrity in what you do in yourself, and you have to believe that the film that you're going to be making is the right thing for you. And I'm sure with their background in the industry, I'm sure they would not have signed on if they thought otherwise. So
yeah, I agree too. Absolutely.
Yeah, but that just shows you what you guys have in your hands. What I want to do, because I know you have other projects lined up, what I want to do, Byron, is bring you on the show again, and talk about your other projects when you can speak about them as things are in development. That may be a few months down the road, but that's fine. We want to have you back on the show to go over stuff, and let's follow your career, because I just have this strange feeling that you're going to be in a different plateau sooner than later. So,
well, I thank you for saying that. It's greatly appreciated.
Well, I speak the truth I'm just speaking my feelings and what I think is going to happen. If I didn't think so, trust me, I wouldn't say it. I would say go make some meatloaf or something and hang out in the kitchen. Oh no, burn the kitchen down, yeah. Oh my God. But Byron, is there anything else that you want to go over? You want to tell our listeners about you, or anything that you have going on that you want to share with them before we sign off?
No, I guess I just would like to say I'll appreciate all the audience's participation in going to see the film, and everybody should definitely check it out. It is going to be a big cult classic. I honestly do believe that. It's got all the elements that make for a fun movie and a good time. It's a lynch mob, and that's about it.
Okay, and then they again, lynchmobmovie.com is the website. I urge everyone to go check it out, especially tomorrow's a big day for them. If you're in the area, go down and support them. Because if you don't, what's going to wind up happening if you're there? I mean, how often do you have a movie like this or people like this around in a local theater doing a red carpet premiere? It's not often.
No, not very often here in Atlanta. That's for sure.
That's what I'm saying. So take advantage of it and be part of the glitz and the glamour. Take the opportunity, because you're be a part of Hollywood without having to go to L.A.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. Byron, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I mean, it was very interesting going over your career and how everything started. And basically the message here is that it's good with anything you do to know the ins and out of the business that you're in. Because if you do that, you're destined for success. If you don't, if you only know one segment, it's a little difficult to control your destiny.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's the message there. All right, Byron, thank you so much. I wish you so much luck tomorrow. Cross my fingers, but not that I need to, because I know it's going to be a blockbuster hit, and you guys are going to do very well with it, and I'm happy that everything worked out the way you guys wanted it to work out. Because speaking of Rachel, speaking of you, all the pieces of the puzzle came together there, as far as the chronology of what transpired and the funny stories, and I can't wait to see the behind-the-scenes footage, because I know that has to be funny.
It is, that's for sure.
All right, excellent. All right,
everybody can see that on the DVD when the DVD comes out.
There you go, and everybody can purchase that when it comes out, because this will be in the theaters throughout the country, Carmike theaters. Then that's a big thing for an indie film to pop up on more than one theater in one shot. So this is a decent deal. You guys are gonna have a good run. All right, Byron, thank you again, and we look forward to having you back on the show.
Thanks for having me, and I'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Thank you. Bye.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
What is your major malfunction?
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, My father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.